The day Nathan Carter lost his job, the sky was unusually clear. He stood outside the glass doors of the office where he had spent the last 13 years of his life. Holding a small cardboard box filled with memories, a family photo, a worn-out coffee mug, and a plaque that once read Employee of the Year, the world around him moved on, fast and uncaring. He had poured everything into that job. Late nights, weekends, birthdays, missed. All for what? Downsizing, they said. Budget cuts? Nothing personal. But it felt deeply personal. By the time Nathan got home, he knew he had to break the news. To his wife Emma, they had 2 kids, a mortgage, and barely any savings after medical bills had drained most of what they had. He sat her down in their modest living room and said the words he never imagined he'd have to say, "I lost my job." Emma didn't cry. She didn't panic. She simply nodded, squeezed his hand, and said, "We'll get through this." But that was just the beginning. In the weeks that followed, the storm didn't let up. Nathan applied for over 200 jobs. Most never replied. The few interviews he got led nowhere. His confidence was shaken, and each rejection felt like another brick on his back. Then came the eviction notice. They were 2 months behind on rent. No job meant no income. Nathan tried to hide it from the kids, but they noticed the packed boxes, the tension in the air, the way their parents whispered in the kitchen at night. Eventually, they had no choice but to move into a small motel room outside the city. 1 room, 4 people. A future that felt like it was slipping away. Nathan sat on the edge of the motel bed one night, staring at the peeling wallpaper. Everything he had worked for, his career, his home, his pride, was gone. He had every reason to give up, but he DI'd single quotes. Instead, he looked over at his sleeping children and then at Emma, who still believed in him. And in that quiet moment, a fire lit within him, a quiet, stubborn fire. "I'm not done," he whispered to himself. "I will rise." Nathan woke up before sunrise every morning. While his family slept in the motel room, he sat at the small wooden table with his second-hand laptop, scouring the internet for anything ad jobs, freelance work. Anything to earn a little money. He began delivering groceries during the day. At night, he studied online courses in web development, something he had always been curious about, but never had time for. Now, time was all he had. It wasn't easy. He failed several small projects, made mistakes, and faced clients who underpaid or ghosted him. But Nathan kept going. Every failure taught him something new. Every small victory, every good review, every payment built him back up, brick by brick. Months passed. One day, he landed a freelance job with a small startup in Chicago. It paid more than any gig he'd had in months. He worked tirelessly, going beyond what was asked. The startup CEO noticed and offered him more work. Soon, Nathan had multiple clients, steady income, and even began mentoring others trying to break into tech. He and Emma saved every dollar they could. After 8 long months, they finally moved out of the motel and into a small rental house with 2 bedrooms and a backyard. The kids were thrilled. Emma cried the first night they had dinner at their own table again. Nathan didn't stop. He kept learning, growing, and expanding his freelance business. A year later, he registered his own digital services company, his first client. That same startup that took a chance on him. From a motel room to his own business, Nathan never forgot where he started or how close he came to breaking. He began volunteering at shelters and job training centers, telling his story to anyone who needed hope. He would say, "You can lose everything. Your job, your home, even your confidence. But if you hold on to just one thing, you can rebuild." His story inspired others who were struggling. His children saw him not as a man who failed, but as a man who refused to quit. Emma? who stood by him through the storm, became his partner in the business. They were still a humble family. No luxury cars or vacations, but they had something more valuable: strength, resilience, and the unshakable bond that comes from surviving the worst together. Nathan often returned to that motel now to speak to residents and donate supplies. Standing outside its weathered door, he would look up at the sky, once again clear. "I lost everything," he'd say, "but I found myself," and he never gave up.